Hey, what's up, Chicago? And welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, aka Ms. Hip Hop. Okay? And today is June 26th, Sunday, and it's a beautiful 75 degrees outside. Okay? And the Cook County primary elections is just around the corner. Now, as of recently, I hadn't really thought about voting in the primary elections because, like most young people, they just vote for the president and that's it. So I had to find out why it was so important. And the reason why it's important is because the primary election is for your local officials. So anything from judges to commissioners, things of that nature. So it's really important. And the power of knowledge is very powerful in this case. And with that being said, I have two special guests with us. Okay, there are two candidates. They're running for different positions, and I'm going to take it step by step. First, we have Bernadette Barrett, and she's a Democratic endorsed candidate for the Circuit Court Judge 15th Sub Circuit. Isn't that cool? And also, you guys having with us, we have, I hope I say her name right, Yumeka Brown, and she is the president, Rich Township Democratic Organization, the village clerk Matson, and she's also the candidate for the commissioner, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. So the reason why they're here today, you guys, they're going to tell us why it's important for your voice to be heard in every election and not to skip anything, okay? Because you might miss something. So without further ado, bringing up next up to the mic, we have both Yumeka Brown and Bernadette Barrett. What's up, guys?
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, girls.
Got us out working the early voting polling places today.
Yeah, you guys are busy, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I just want to
busier, get more voters.
Yes. And that's the purpose of today's program, is to get with the program and start getting these young people out here, the people in between, to come out here and vote, because we need you guys, and we have to stick together and vote for the right people. And as a person that hasn't really voted in a primary election, take it from me to do your research first. And that's how I got these two lovely girls on here to tell us about their position that they're running for. So let's start with Bernadette. Bernadette, my question for you is an icebreaker for both of y'all, really. What's your all's favorite musical record?
Oh, record. Okay, that's a lot because I'm older. So there's a lot of songs that I love, but one song that always, when it comes on, it just makes me smile, which is a song by Train. Play that song. And there's just something about the beat and the way they sing it that by the time the song ends, no matter what kind of day you're having, it just picks you up. Beautiful. So I think that one is when you ask me that question to say, what's your favorite song? That's the first one that always comes to my mind.
Okay.
Yes, and for me, I really love old school music. So Marvin Gaye comes to the top of my mind, and Let's Get It On.
Oh,
one of my favorites. Yeah,
that's a good one too.
I love it. You know, it's that's what we're doing right now. It's like, let's get it on with this voting. Yes,
exactly. So you guys, now that we have the icebreaker out the way, I want to ask both of you young ladies, what was it like growing up in Illinois, and how did it contribute to your position that you guys are in today, that you're running for?
All right, I'll kick us off. So I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago in the Roseland community. And it was a community that I felt, and I didn't realize at the time, that was a community that was often forgotten about as far as resources. And in the 90s, when I was in my teenage years, it's when the war on drugs really took place in our communities, where a lot of the kids were raising each other, and so I think that really set the stage for me in wanting to always give back and wanting to, let people know that are in those communities that they can still make it out, that they can still, have a, purpose-filled life. And so one of the things that really got me into public service is just going back into marginalized Black and Brown communities to just give back. So that really impacted my life.
Beautiful, Ms. Brown. Okay, girl.
That's awesome. And I'm going back a couple more years. I was born and raised in the city of Chicago by a single mom, and one of four at the time. And then she met my dad, and then we became a blended family of 10.
Wow.
And yes, I'm third from the bottom. And so what I was always discovered was I was raised to believe that everything you do has meaning, and life is not easy. And if you want something, you have to work for it. You have to study for it, because by studying and working for it, you keep more windows and more doors open than if you just say no. So I was one who worked her entire life to get through school, because being one of 10, I was the first one to go to college. And I'll never forget the story of after I finished school and had more student loans than I think anybody had at the time back then in 1980 or 91. I remember going to purchase my first home, and the mortgage company said, well, if you pay off your student loans, we'll give you a mortgage. And I said, if I could pay off my student loans, I wouldn't need a mortgage.
Thank you.
But one of the things that I really appreciated was not only working for what I've done, but also acknowledging that it makes me accountable. Back then it was $3 an hour minimum wage. And so $3 an hour, and you spend it on your education, you made sure you were doing what you needed to do.
That's
so
right.
I was raised by a great family, and they taught me hard work is everything. And it doesn't matter what your job is, though. Each and every one of us are equal. Each and every one. And that's all it comes down to. And treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
And never lie. Right?
Yes, I love it.
We were told never to lie.
Honesty is the best policy, for sure. And speaking of being honest, like Bernadette, I know that's in your job description, because now explain what you're running for, the judge position, so people out there can have the perfect definition.
So I've been a practicing attorney in the Southland for over 31 years, and I have been in the courtroom for 31 years. And what that means is I represent individuals like you and me and Yumeka here, as well as the local businesses. So you get a feel of what is needed in the courtroom. I have an extremely good grasp on what the law is. I love being challenged, but there are three things that I love more than anything else, and that's my family, the law, and I love people. So when you said this will be short, I'm like, not if I keep talking. And I love being able to take what the rules are, which is the law, listening to what people have to say, listening to what they don't or are not saying, and try to find out the best way to assist them. And I think that my experience and representing individuals, not only my clients, but I'm also on the board of directors of Rises from Ashes. And I've been doing that for, I think, 7 or 8 years. Time goes really fast, where we provide free pro bono work to victims of domestic violence, so that we actually try to remind people that they have voices, and we help them remember what their voices are, because it's easier to stay sometimes in the situation than it is to have your voice heard. So I'm a firm believer that everyone who comes before me when I win this election has a voice. And it's would be my job as a judge to listen to what the facts are, because the law is the same for you and me, Nicole, as it is for me and Yumeka. We all go by the same law. It's the facts of each one of our lives and the circumstances that's the most important. And you need judges who listen and who have integrity and who are not misrepresenting either their credentials or the facts in order to be elected. So never has it been more important than to seek out the information for your judges and make sure they're qualified.
And yes, incredible. Yumeka, now you're running for commissioner. Can you explain that type of position and what it means to the community?
Sure. So I am running for Commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. It is a hidden gem, the agency. Most people do not know who MWRD is and what they do and the impact they have on the community. But the agency's responsibility is to clean stormwater and sewer water. Most of the sewer systems throughout Cook County is a combined sewer system. So it's the water from the sewer, the water from your toilets, it all flows through the same system as our drinking water. So the agency, I know it sounds really gross, but the agency's primary responsibility is to make sure that our drinking water isn't contaminated by our sewer water and our sewer water. So it's a huge responsibility, especially when you think about what happened in Flint, Michigan, when you think about University Park and or in those areas. So what really brought me to this work was my son contracted an environmental waterborne illness called blastomycosis in 2019. So I just decided, during that time, of course, my first priority was getting my son back healthy. But after that, I decided, I want to really get more involved in making sure that some of the infrastructure and flooding issues that we're seeing throughout the county are addressed. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring to run for commissioner. Both Bernie and I are endorsed by the Cook County Democratic Party. So, we're out here, we're working really hard just to spread our why we're running, why we're doing this. And I believe that we're both very passionate about the work that we're doing and that we would be great assets in any role, in the role once elected.
Definitely.
I agree with you, Mika. We're doing it because we want to continue helping versus anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys both have very important roles to play, like seriously, especially both of you, a judge and a commissioner for the water. Like, who knew? Well, I didn't know that all the toilet water and the sewage water all combined, and it was a specific job to make sure they weren't contaminated. And then your son getting sick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a calling, girl, for real.
Because what happens is once you have the storm water and it comes in our communities, and you've seen the flooding, it sits there and it can cause, pollutants in all communities actually. So what the role is to make sure that we protect Lake Michigan, which is our largest body of water in the Midwestern region. So we want to protect that. And so in order to do that, we have this agency in place that goes through and makes sure that the water is not contaminated while it goes back into Lake Michigan.
That is very interesting. And now both of you guys are Democratic candidates, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, check this out. I'm talking to the audience now. Bernadette, now, she is well qualified for the position that she's seeking out because she's been found out that she is one of the only, listen to me, the only Democratic candidates found recommended by both the Women's Bar Association of Illinois and the Black Women Lawyers Association of Greater Chicago. You hear me? That's a big deal, you guys. That's a very big deal. Bernadette, why don't you tell them how you felt when you found out the news that you were only Democratic credited this recommendation?
Well, I can tell you that it's an arduous, how would you say it? In order to become qualified or recommended, you have to fill out an extremely long questionnaire of what you've done. And I've been practicing for 31 years. And it took me down memory lane of all the trials, all the people you helped, all your opponents, all the judges you've been in front of. And it kind of gave me a little bit of accreditation back of, hey, you did good. You've maintained your ethics, you maintained your honesty, you stood up and you represented your client. I've represented my clients diligently. And I can tell you, being a female attorney for 31 years, I remember starting and going in the courtroom. And when I was pregnant, and some of the other people in the courtroom would be like, what are you doing in this courtroom? Because I've always been in the courtroom. And it has changed over time. But being found recommended and qualified by the Women's Bar Association and the Black Women's Lawyers Association was something that I hold extremely dear because it represents everything that I've done. And especially in today's times We need qualified judges. We need judges who walk the walk, have the experience, and know what they're doing, and can use their life experiences in order to apply the law from the bench. So I can't tell you how proud I am to be endorsed by both of those and found recommended and qualified by the Women's and the Black Women's Lawyers Association. Yeah. And all of the other bar associations have found me qualified or recommended.
Wow. Now that is
something. It is an honor. Thank you for asking the question. It is an honor.
So she has been vetted.
Yes.
And, received the recommendations needed. And that's what people need to know. So I want to tell your audience that, oftentimes they say, we don't know who the judges are or what they do, but these judges are vetted thoroughly and carefully, and everything that they've done leading up to this moment has been scrutinized. So
yes, it has.
Yeah. So to receive all of those high remarks is good. Yes. So look out for those judges. Yes.
Yes, definitely. And to ask both of you guys, what's one piece of advice that you've gotten on this campaign run thus far?
I'll go first because it's someone taught me. Typically in judicial elections, there are rules what we have to be governed by. We have to be governed by the rules of ethics. And you can only maintain what you do from your perspective and how you represent yourself to the community for seeking their vote. And so the one piece of advice that is constantly playing in my head in a mantra was stolen from Michelle Obama. When they go low, you stay high. When they go low, you stay high, and don't lose yourself in the negativity. So that's my number one piece of advice. This girl probably has way more, but she tells me that all the time. When they go low, stay high.
Yes.
Because it's hard.
It is.
It is hard.
When you think, because if you're in public service, you really want to help people. You should be in this for the right reason. So if you're in this to help people and you're trying to do good and you're putting yourself on the line, and then you're personally attacked, your family is attacked, that's very difficult to, just, keep walking away from it. And we've both been running for almost 15 months now. So imagine 15 months of attacks and, not just saying in our races, but it happens to candidates all the time. So the one thing that I knew when I was going to run and put my hat in the ring for this is to stay focused. No matter what you hear, just stay above the fray and just look at the prize of winning this election and staying focused, because every day it's a challenge to stay focused, to say, I don't hear the noise, I don't hear any of this, I got my eye on the prize. So that's the advice, and I think that holds true in life, period. Just staying focused, and when they go low, you go high.
That's
and
right.
Come out of it, because after elections, we all go back into our everyday lives, and there's life after elections, and you don't want to, things that you say and do, you can't take it back. And is it worth it? How can you serve the public and then at the same time you're trying to destroy someone else? So it's like an oxymoron or something.
It is.
Well said.
Very well said. Very well said. And then speaking of taking things back and making sure you know exactly what you're doing, what do you young ladies think about the Supreme Court's decision to eliminate the constitutional rights of a lady to legally have an abortion, and having them overruling the 1973 Roe versus Wade case?
Well, I know she has a legal opinion of it, but my personal opinion, I am endorsed by Personal PAC because I am an advocate for pro-choice throughout the county, throughout the world. And for me, it's more of like an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so we have to protect our fundamental rights, because what's next? Is it LGBTQ? Is it the voting rights? I mean, it scares me to know where this could take us, because I feel like I'm back in, after I get done with this interview, I might have to go pick cotton or something. That's how much it scares me, because, our fundamental rights are at risk. And that's why it's important to get out and vote, because we're responsible partly for people that are appointed to the Supreme Court based upon who we put into office. So we have to protect that by getting out to vote so that our rights are protected.
Mm-hmm. And and unfortunately, one of the hardest things as a female and a female candidate for a judicial position is we're not allowed under the ethical guidelines to give our opinion. It can be inferred being a Democratic female candidate and a lifelong Democrat and a lawyer who has represented women for my entire career, what my position is, but all I can say is that I concur with Yumeka, and like I said, I'm proud to be found qualified and recommended by the women lawyers and the Women's Bar Association because of what I stand for and what my record holds. But to concur a little further with Yumeka, the scariest thing that came out of this decision was we're going to leave it up to the states. And if you think back to, January 6th, everyone knows what year that took place. Mm-hmm. The scariest thing that I find is the amount of restrictions that many of these red states are putting on the ability to vote. Mm-hmm. And so while they're saying the Supreme Court has said, we're going to leave it up to the state, those same states that put those Supreme Court justices in place mm-hmm. that was allowed to make this decision are now restricting people's ability to get to the vote, mm-hmm. to the ballot, and to make their voices heard. It has never been more important to make mm-hmm. your voice heard, because only with your voice are we going to get the changes that are necessary and needed so that our rights are protected. Mm-hmm. And as your judge of the 15th Judicial Subcircuit, I will apply the law that we are living on with the facts that we go for. And we are extremely lucky that we still live in the state of Illinois, mm-hmm. and it is a blue state, but don't take that for granted.
Yes.
We need to get the voters out to vote, because yes. it's only with the vote is our voice heard.
Yes.
So, yes. But we need to vote for the qualified candidates.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, that's so important, because I know when I was walking up to early vote now, I just wanted to do my adjust, but I didn't have my research done. And I had been bombarded with so much information that it was actually Bernadette that said, you know what, you just need to go home and do your research. And
I love it.
Yeah. And then come back and try again. I say, okay.
You could have been like, vote for me. Don't worry about it. But instead, she wanted you to be an informed voter. But I do want to tell the audience too, because I know that the audience is a younger generation, but get involved in your local, party organizations. I am the president of the Rich Township Democratic Organization, and Bernadette is the president of the Orland Township Democratic Organization. Yes. But I do think the organization gives the opportunity to hear from your local officials and, to learn what's going on in the communities. So if you're not involved currently, consider it. We also have the Rich Township Young Democratic Organization, because we want to have a place for young Democrats to convene and to talk about things or issues that may be of concern to you. So consider that and, look up your local Democratic organizations.
And if you come to the early voting places to vote, which you can early vote through Monday night at 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. and then election day is Tuesday, if you have not registered, you can show up and still register and place your ballot
the same day.
Mm-hmm. And even if you're not 18 today or tomorrow or Tuesday, if you are going to be 18 by the general election in November, as a 17-year-old, let your voice be heard now. Come register. Come out and give your vote. And when you come to these polling places, you are going to see a lot of young people working as interns mm-hmm. and working the polling places, because they are trying to get their classmates mm-hmm. and they're trying to get people of their age group to come out and vote, because it has never been more important. Let's not take it for granted.
They are participating in the democratic process. And invite you all to do the same. You can follow me on Yumeka for Water, the number 4, water.com, to learn more about maybe you want to get involved on election day. I would love to have your help and support. And I'm sure Bernie has a web address as well.
Yep, Barrett for the bench. And then, but also the Orland Township Democratic Committee or Ridge Township Democratic Committee. And I know Bremen Township has one. Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're all there. Just reach out and call, and one of us will get you hooked up to the right people.
Yes, this was an incredible interview, incredible information, because I have 17-year-olds that listen. And so you guys, you stay in Illinois and you're 17 and you're going to be 18 by November's election, come on down and vote for Bernadette. Okay, you just press 191 and vote for Yumeka Brown. Yumeka, what's your number 4?
Punch number 82.
Oh, 82, excuse me. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. I know you guys are busy because you're still doing the early voting and everything. And I just really appreciate you taking the time out to come speak to me on Speak Your Mind Radio on Spotify. We stream every weekend with music and things of that nature. And don't forget to subscribe and like the page, Speak Your Mind Radio on YouTube, where you can catch this interview at, as well as it being, streamed on Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, a lot of stuff. Wherever you hear music, you're going to hear this episode.
Yes. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much for having us. It is a true honor for you to have asked us to be on this.
Yes.
You're so welcome. I'm just so happy you guys came through. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And as I told you, when you came to the early voting, I would rather you go and do the research and know who you're voting for than just coming in randomly, because look what just happened with Roe versus Wade.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if anyone's listening, injusticewatch.org literally is an independent non-for-profit organization that goes through each and every judicial candidate and gives you all the dirt on all of us. All of it. But they've done the work for you, and it's not just me or you. Well, Yumeka's not on there because she's just a rock star. But they've done the research and they've done the work, and it's updated every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys heard it here on Speak Your Mind Radio. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you out there, and I can't wait till you guys hear the next show. So love you and peace out. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.